Hello, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I welcome you all to this episode of our grammar lessons in which we use the book An-Nahu al-Wadih. Inshallah, we take our next topic, which is, as you see on the screen, أحوال بناء الفعل الماضي. And as I've already explained, whenever you see ahwal, you are thinking about the case endings of the word. So the moment you see ahwal, you are thinking about case endings. That is the vowels basically. Okay. So our topic today, as we've already seen, we've seen topics like bina'ul fi'l, and then we see anwa'ul bina. We've seen anwa'ul bina, and then we see anwa'ul i'rab. We've seen these two, that verbs or words can be construct, they can be indeclinable, and they can be declinable. You can refer and revise if you've forgotten all these terms, anwa'ul bina and anwa'ul i'rab. If you've forgotten, you can just refer back and revise. So now we are going to look at words and the case endings of specific verbs. That is, we are now going to look at the past tense verb, al-fi'l al-madi, and the various types of endings it takes. We've already learned that kullu af'al al-madiya mabniya. All past tense verbs are indeclinable. That is, they take the same vowel at its ending. So if you see dhahaba, you see nazala, qala, shariba, qatala, you see it ending in fatha like that. So that is what we mean when we say fi'l madi is mabni, is indeclinable. Its ending is constant. Okay. Now we are going to see past tense verbs and their case endings if there is any twist in the story as we've seen. Okay, so here we have these examples to use. We have ishtadda al-bardu. This, he likes to repeat sentences, so do well to be saving the vocabularies here such that you wouldn't need to stress so much on understanding the examples. Okay, so he says ishtadda al-bardu. Al-bard is cold. Cold as in the condition, weather condition. Okay, when you want to use cold as an adjective, you say barid. You say al-ma'u al-baridu, cold water. Okay, so in this case we have ishtadda al-bardu. That is, the cold has become severe. Ishtadda, to become severe. And then we have thara al-gubaru. Thara, as we've already seen, to rise, to get aroused. So he says thara al-gubaru, the dust has been aroused. That is, the dust has risen. Then we have nazala al-mataru, the rain descended. That is, the rain fell. That is, there was rain, it rained. Okay. Number 4, he says al-awladu la'ibu, the children played. The children played. Okay. And then we have ar-rijalu safaru. Ar-rijalu safaru, the men traveled. Safara, to travel. Al-ummalu ta'ibu, the workers got tired. Ta'ibu, to get tired. Then we have fatahtul baba, I opened the door. Talaqqaftu al-qurata. This word, I don't know if you've seen it, but it looks familiar. The verb talaqqafa is to grab, to get hold of. So it's talaqqaftu al-qurata, I grabbed the ball. Then we have akhaztu jaizatan, I took an award. Jaiza is a reward or an award, so I took an award. Then we have number 10, says sadaqta fi qawlik, you were truthful in your statement or in your saying, or you were right in your saying. Adalta, that is to be just. Adala, that is to be just. And then he says, Adalta fi hukmik, you were just in your judgment. Ahsanta ila nasi, you've done well to people, you've done good to people. Okay. Al-banatu ta'allamna al-hiyaka. I think the new word here is al-hiyaka. Al-hiyaka is sewing. The girls learned ta'allamna, learned al-hiyaka, sewing or weaving. Al-ummahatu, the mothers, at'amna, have fed awladahunna, their children. The mothers have fed their children. Al-fatayatu rattabna al-ma'idata. The verb is rattaba, to put something in order, arrange something. That is what we call rattaba. That is where we get tartib from. Tartib is order, the sequence. Okay, so it says al-fatayatu, the girls, the young girls, rattabna al-ma'idata. Al-ma'ida is dinner table. Dinner table. So the girls or the young girls prepared or arranged the dinner table. Kharajna ila al-hukul, we went out to the field. Hukul, we've seen it a lot, the plural of hakl, field, farm field or just any field. Istanshaqna al-hawa'a an-naqiyya, we breathed in. Istanshaqa, to drag in, to breathe in. Istanshaqna al-hawa'a, air, an-naqi, pure, we breathed in pure air. Qatafna al-azhara, qatafa is to pluck, so we plucked the flowers. Pluck, P-L-U-C-K, pluck, to pluck a flower, a fruit. Qatafna al-azhar, we plucked the flowers. Okay, now let's see the explanation we have here. Al-Bahth, explanation or an insight into the text. It says, إِذَا نَظَرْنَا, if we look فِي الْأَمْثِلَةِ الْمُتَقَدِّمَةِ, in the previous examples, that is these ones we've just seen, if we look at them, رَأَيْنَا أَنَّ كُلَّ مِثَالٍ فِيهَا, we realize that each example in there, يَشْتَمِلُ عَلَى, I've already told you about this phrase, اشتمل على, to contain. I set examples and I say, I can say يشتمل مكتبي على كتب كثيرة. My office or my library contains a lot of books. Or تشتمل الجامعة, that is why a university that is all courses, a university that treats all courses, arts, medicine and all these fields, we call it Jami'a Shamila. I know you've heard of the library that is called Al-Maktab Al-Shamil, or is it Al-Maktabat Al-Shamila or something? That is the library that has almost everything in it. Okay, so Yashtamilu ala is to contain. So it says Yashtamilu ala fi'l madin. You realize that all the sentences above contains a past tense verb. Now before we continue, let's confirm that if it is true. Here we have ishtadda, thara, nazala. We have la'ibu, it is also past tense. Safaru, past tense. Ta'ibu is past tense. We have fatahtu, I opened, is past tense. Talaqaftu is also past tense. Akhaztu is also past tense verb. And then we have here sadaqta, you were truthful. Adalta, you were just. Ahsanta, you did good. They are all past tense verbs. Then we have ta'allamna. Let me now take this off. Ta'allamna, they learned, feminine. At'amna, they fed, they gave food to. It's also feminine. Let me take these two off. And then we have rattabna, they arranged. It is also past. Here we have kharajna, we went out. Then we have istanshaqna, we breathed in. It's also past tense. And then we have qatafna, we plucked. It is also past tense. So true. Each رأينا أن كل مثال فيها يشتمل على فعل ماض. This statement is true. All the sentences contain past tense verb. وقد عرفنا في درس سابق أن الأفعال الماضية كلها مبنية. We've also studied that all past tense verb are مبنية. Well, let's just highlight this is a قاعدة. الأفعال الماضية كلها مبنية. This is a ruling that you should memorize. All past tense verb are indeclinable. They do not change. فالأفعال التي في هذه الأمثلة إذن تكون مبنية. If so, then all the verbs in this example, since they are all past tense verbs, and we've said that past tense verbs are indeclinable, then these verbs we have here are indeclinable. ونريد أن نعرف, we want to know, في هذا الدرس أحوال بنائها. We want to know the case endings of its indeclinability. We've learned in the Anwa'ul Bina, you can go back like two, three topics, Anwa'ul Bina, that words can be construct, or words can be indeclinable. But it being indeclinable, what is the vowel on it? Indeclinable means that the ending does not change. So if I say a word like haythu is indeclinable, wherever it finds itself in the sentence, it ends with dhamma. So if I say min, I will say haythu. I won't say min haythi. Min haythu. A word like min is also indeclinable. It ends with skun. Always I will say min. The noun at the end takes skun. So it's also indeclinable, but its vowel is skun. Haythu is indeclinable. Its vowel is dhamma. Ams, yesterday, we say amsi is mabni al kasri. It is also indeclinable, but the vowel it takes at its end is kasra. That means that if we say a word is indeclinable, there is the next step. It is indeclinable, yes, but what vowel does it take at its end such that it does not change again? So in that case, I will say haythu takes dhamma, is indeclinable, and its vowel is dhamma. Ams is indeclinable, its vowel is kasra. Min is indeclinable, its vowel is skun. Okay, so when we say ahwalu bina, this is what we are looking at. The vowels that have caused this indeclinability. These vowels that have caused the words not to change again. The vowels that have taken over the word and does not accept any change. That is what we call an ahwalu bina. Okay, so it says li ajli dhalik. So this is what we want to learn in this topic. We say past tense are mabni, past tense are indeclinable. Okay, but what are their vowels? What are the various vowels past tense take? It says لأجل ذلك نتأمل الأمثلة الأولى أمثلة الثلاثة الأولى. And so due to that, we are going to ponder over the first three examples, which is these three. So we have these first three. So we take these three first. Okay. He says فنرى الأفعال الماضية فيها وهي اشتد. We see the past tense in there. اشتد, ثار, and نزل. These are the three past tense we have there. لم يتصل بآخرها شيء. Their endings are not attached to anything, meaning the verbs are standing alone. They are not attached to any pronoun or any other word. So we have ishtadda, thara, nazala. They are standing free. ونرى أن آخرها مفتوح, and we see that its ending is maftuh, that is, it has fatha. When we say a word is maftuh, its ending is fatha. When we say it's madmoom, its ending is dhamma. When we say it is maqsoor, its ending is kasra. Okay. ولو, it says ولو تتبعنا الفعل الماضي الذي لم يتصل بآخره شيء, if we should follow up past tense verb whose ending is not attached to anything, في أي تركيب, in any sentence. When you see tarkib, I've kept repeating it. When you see tarkib, we are talking about sentence. أي في أي جملة, في أي تركيب, in any form of sentence. رأينا آخره مفتوحا. If you find a past tense verb and it's standing alone, its ending is not attached to anything, no pronoun, no word, you realize that the verb ends in fatha. ذهب, قتل, شرب, جلس, like that. فتح. وبذلك نستطيع, and with that we can أن نقول, say, إن الماضي يبنى على الفتح في هذه الحال. We can say that past tense verb is indeclinable and it is construct on fath. في هذه الحال, in this case. That is in the case where it is not attached to anything. So you can create it yourself and you say يبنى الفعل الماضي على الفتح إذا لم يتصل بآخره شيء. You can create this قاعدة yourself. Okay. وإذا تأملنا الأمثلة الثلاثة الثانية, if you should look at the second three examples, if you should look at the second three, which is this batch from al-awladu la'ibu, safaru, ta'ibu. If you look at this batch, you see that sorry, it says وإذا تأملنا الأمثلة الثلاثة الثانية, if you look at the second three examples, رأينا أن الأفعال لعب وسافر وتعب, we see that these three verbs قد اتصل آخر كل منها بواو تدل على أن الفعل صدر من جماعة الذكور. Now these verbs لعب, سافر, تعب قد اتصل آخر كل منها بواو. The verbs are لعب, سافر, تعب, and then we realize that in the examples we've gotten waw being attached to it here. You can see it there, and then here safara now has a waw here with this is accompanying alif, and then ta'iba now has a waw attached to the bow. So waw has been attached to it, as against the first three that we said nothing is attached to its ending. Okay, let's see this waw. What is its essence? تدل, this waw تدل على أن الفعل صدر من جماعة الذكور. This waw points us to the fact that the verb, the action, came from plural masculine. So if I say ذهبوا, you understand that a group of masculine people went. أكلوا, because I've attached waw to the akela, أكلوا, you know that those who ate are a group of boys. This is what it's telling us. Jama'at al-dhukur, a group of masculine creatures. Wara'ayna, after we've observed that the verb is now attached to waw, which we call waw al-jama'a, we again see ra'ayna dhalika al-akhira, we see that ending madmuman. We see that now the verb la'iba, if it was standing alone, it is la'iba, it ends in fat'ah. Now waw is attached to it and it is now la'ibu. Now bow is taking dhamma. Okay. ولو أننا تتبعنا كل فعل ماض اتصل به واو الجماعة. Now you see the name here. لوجدنا آخره مضموما. If you should follow every past tense verb whose ending is attached to waw al-jama'a, you realize that the ending of the verb now takes dhamma. So if I have jalasa and I attach this waw al-jama'a, it now becomes jalasu. So sin from taking fatha is now taking dhamma. That is what he's telling us. If you follow up verbs, past tense verbs, if they are standing alone, they take fatha. If they are attached to waw al-jama'a, they take dhamma. Okay. وَمِنْ ذَلِكَ نَعْلَمْ, and from that we know أَنَّ الْمَاضِيَ, we know that past tense verbs يُبْنَى عَلَى الضَّمِّ, it becomes مبني على الضم إذا جاء على هذه الصورة, if it comes in this image, in this picture. So again, you can write down this قاعدة: يبنى الفعل الماضي على الضم إذا اتصل به واو الجماعة. Again, يبنى الفعل الماضي على الضم إذا اتصل به واو الجماعة. فعل الماضي is made construct on dhamma. Its last vowel is dhamma if it is attached to واو الجماعة. As against the first one, where we said يبنى الفعل الماضي على الفتح إذا لم يتصل بآخره شيء. Keep this قواعد even before we get to the قاعدة. Again, the last one he says وحين ننظر إلى الأفعال الماضية في بقية الأمثلة. When we look at the past tense verb in the rest of the examples, نرى أنها, we see that it اتصلت مرة بتاء متحركة. We realize that at a point اتصل مرة, one moment it is attached to be تاء متحركة أو متحركة. We realize that the verb is attached to a particular tau that has dhamma. I will take you back and show you all this clearly. ومرة بنون تدل على جماعة الإناث, and at a point it is attached to a particular noon. What does this noon show us? It points us to جماعة الإناث. So we call it نون النسوة. That is what he's brought here. وتسمى نون النسوة. So we have two things here. We realize that the remaining examples, at a time it is attached to تاء متحركة. Let's make it alone. تاء متحركة or تاء متحركة. That is tau that has a vowel. So tau dhamma, tau kesra, tau fatha. And then at times these verbs are attached to nun niswa. Nun niswa comes at the end of a verb to show you that it is a feminine plural that is doing it. Like ta'allamna, qatalna, sharibna, something like that. He says wa ukhra, and at a point you see it attached to bi kalimatina, the pronoun na, adala al fa'il. So it is called na al fa'ilun or na al fa'ilin. This na refers to the doer of the action. So if I say dhahabna, we went, the na here shows nahnu. Ay nahnu dhahabna, we went. ونرى آخر كل فعل منها ساكنا. In this case, if the past tense verb is attached to تاء متحركة أو نون النسوة أو نا الفاعلون, in that case you realize that the verb ends in sukun. It says ولو أننا تتبعنا جميع الأفعال الماضية التي اتصلت أواخرها بالتاء المتحركة أو نون النسوة أو نا الدالة على الفاعل لوجدنا أواخرها ساكنة. If you should follow up all past tense verbs that are attached to this three, 1, 2, 3, we realize that the past tense verb will end in sukun. Before we end this, okay, let's just end this and then I'll take you back and show you this very clearly. ومن ذلك نعلم أن الماضي يبنى على الضم في هذه الحالات. And so we know that فعل ماضي يبنى على السكون عفوا يبنى على السكون, and from that we know that past tense verb is مبني على السكون في هذه الحالات. So what can we say again? The قاعدة even before we get to the قواعد. يبنى الفعل الماضي على السكون إذا اتصلت أو إذا اتصل به تاء المتحركة. Again, يبنى الفعل الماضي على السكون إذا اتصلت به تاء المتحركة أو نون النسوة أو نا الدالة على الفاعل. Okay, let's go back. Let me show you this very clearly. We have from here. So from this tray, we see fatahtu. Now, this is the ta al-mutaharrika. This ta dhamma. Talaqaftu, akhaztu. This ta dhamma is a ta that is vowelized. So we call it ta al-mutaharrika or ta al-mutaharrika. Then it says sadaqta. So ta al-mutaharrika, as I said, you can have two ta, ti. So we have sadaqta, adalta, ahsanta. In the same vein, you can have ahsanti, adalti, sadaqti. Okay. Then it says ta'allamna. This is what we call the nun niswa. So it says al-banatu ta'allamna, al-ummahatu at'amna, al-fatayatu rattabna. So you get to know that nun niswa is nun fatha that comes at the end of a verb. And in all these cases, this is the na al-fa'ilin, na ad-dala al-fa'il. We have kharajna, istanshaqna, qatafna. In all these cases, you realize that the verb ends with skun. Fatah, skun. Talaqaf, skun. Akhaz, skun. You realize sadaq, adal, ahsan, skun. Ta'allam, skun. At'am, skun. Rattab, skun. Kharaj, skun. Istanshaq, skun. Qataf, skun. So when it is attached to ta'u al-mutaharrika أو التاء المتحركة or نا الدالة على الفاعل or نون النسوة, the verb ends in sukun. Okay, let's read the قواعد. القاعدة: الفعل الماضي يبنى على الفتح إلا إذا اتصلت به واو الجماعة فيبنى على الضم، أو اتصلت به التاء المتحركة أو نون النسوة أو نا الدالة على الفاعل فيبنى على السكون. So he's made it in one fold. It says past tense verb الفعل الماضي يبنى على الفتح. Originally it is مبني على الفتح. Its vowel is فتحة. إلا except إذا اتصلت به واو الجماعة. First case, if it is attached to waw al-jama'a, waw of masculine plural, فَيُبْنَى عَلَى الضَّمِّ. In that case, the verb will end in dhamma. أو اتصلت به التاء المتحركة, or it is attached to a taw that has dhamma or fatha or kasra, a vowelized taw. أو نون النسوة, or feminine noon, أو نا الدالة على الفاعل فيبنى على السكون. In that case, it becomes مبني على السكون. Okay, this brings us to the end of this episode, this session. Inshallah, whatever is unclear for you, you ask and then it will be clarified for you, inshallah, comfortably. Our aim is to make the language very easy and accessible to everyone. Please do well and subscribe if you've not done so, and do well to share. Perhaps someone is so much in need of a lesson like this. Okay, in case of any questions, do not hesitate. Till we meet again in our next episode, have a very good Arabic time. Do well to be revising. Don't feel so enough. Don't feel so good. do well to be revising. Whatever is unclear in the previous lessons, then you ask. Inshallah, till we meet again, have a very good Arabic time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.